Hi, today we're going to try to gain an understanding of what exactly Ayurveda is. Ayu is life, and Veda translates to science. So life science, or more commonly referred to as the science of life. Ayurveda is a holistic wellness format that's over 5,000 years old. It comes from India and was originally passed down through oral tradition and then eventually was written down. So it is the oldest documented form of healthcare or wellness that we have. It's holistic wellness, and what's really unique about it over other types of healthcare is that it recognizes each person as an individual. So rather than saying, okay, you 10 people all have this concern, we're going to give you this one pill or supplement or whatever it may be, and it's going to work for 7 of you, but 3 of you aren't going to get benefit or are going to have terrible side effects, or it's going to create something worse, right? That's kind of what we see in the more Western format of medicine. Rather, Ayurveda will take each person and again dig deeper to see, well, what's the underlying cause of these symptoms in this person, realizing that the underlying causes will be different for each person. And so the way that we go about balancing those concerns and those issues is going to be different. So that's really where, in my opinion, the beauty of Ayurveda comes in. Now, that's not to say wasn't meant to be a dig or negativity on the more modern, more Western practice. Both are necessary, and both, ideally, when we're working with both together, that's when we can really thrive and shine. But recognizing when Ayurveda is going to be a good fit and when, no, it's time for Western medicine. Very different practices. So Ayurvedic practitioners will help people find balance from their imbalances by using tools such as herbs, dietary regulations, lifestyle changes, oil applications, and other lifestyle adjustments. So usually the adjustments can be fairly simple, but we have to be willing to put the time in. It's not a quick fix. So we have to say, okay, I really want to make this change. I really want to start to feel better in my body. Am I willing to give up this particular food because I'm learning that my body just doesn't digest it well, even though everyone else in my family can digest this food perfectly, or this food is, everybody loves it and I love it, but it's not sitting well in my body and it's creating these other issues. So am I willing to give up that food? That's kind of the easiest way, not the easiest, because some foods are really hard to give up, right? So it's not necessarily, easiest isn't the word I'm looking for. The simplest way, right? That would be the ideal way, but sometimes we're just not willing to do it. And that's okay, because then Ayurveda can come in and say, okay, well, if you're not willing to give up that food completely, maybe we can cut back on it some, but we know that at some times we're still going to want it. And Ayurveda acknowledges that. And Ayurveda says everything in moderation. Everything is okay in small amounts, in moderation. So in that case, we might say, for example, okay, then let's add these particular herbs. These herbs will help your body to digest that food better. That food that your body is struggling to digest is going to be much better in the body by using these herbs that will help support or kickstart or whatever's needed in that particular case. When we say like exercise, it doesn't necessarily mean super hard, rigorous exercises for everybody. For some people, that might be really great, but other people, some people, many people are going to get more benefit from gentler exercise. Let's remember that India is also the birthplace of yoga. A lot of yoga is more gentle. And even though it can be really hard for some people, especially if we're not the most flexible people in the world, Yoga might feel harder than, say, going and lifting weights or just heading out for a run, but yoga is able to work the entire body. And sometimes it might even just be walking, just if we're somebody who sits at a desk all day and we just aren't getting a lot of movement, something as simple as just walking for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. And again, that's going to depend. How long you walk is also going to depend on your specific, what we call in Ayurveda, the prakriti, or the doshic balance that you were born with, versus your vikruti, which is the doshic imbalance that you're currently experiencing. So this is going to get way too deep, way deeper than I intended to get today if we get into the doshas, but let's just keep it super simple. And the 3 doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and each dosha is comprised of 2 elements. Okay, and we've got space, air, fire, water, and earth. So we have 5 elements, but 3 doshas, each comprised of 2. Again, that's not the subject of today's video. I will do a video on that soon, but the doshas are a way for an Ayurvedic practitioner to determine what your balanced state is, and one person's balanced state will look very different from another person's balanced state. But this is a way for us to help determine, okay, what's your balanced state and what's the current imbalance? So which of those doshas, which of those elements is really going out of balance and maybe either working overtime or being a bit suppressed, that's causing whatever issues we might be seeing in your body, in your system. Okay, so Ayurveda sounds great. Everything I've said so far maybe sounds really appealing to you. You're like, okay, yeah, that's great. So how come I've never heard of Ayurveda before? Right? Well, that's a great question. So British colonization is the answer. So in the 1600s, the British traveled to India to establish trade. By 1833, the British had ordered all Ayurvedic colleges to close. They found it to be a primitive practice and less effective than their more modern approaches to healthcare. Now, luckily, there were Indian families who were trained in Ayurveda who continued to pass down that information to the future generations, so that once the British granted India its freedom in 1947, Ayurveda slowly began to make a comeback. So I hope that answers your questions about what is Ayurveda. Again, trying to keep it super basic, and I probably went into that a little more than I needed to or intended to. But that is the gist of what Ayurveda is, why we might want to use it, and also why we've never heard of it. So if you have questions, please put them down in the comments. This is a new YouTube channel. I'm trying to get better with each video. We'll see how it goes. I did find, I don't know if you saw my first video or not, but I couldn't find my mic for the first video. So I do have the mic on now, so hopefully the sound quality is better on this video. Let me know in the comments if it sounds better, or if that's something I still need to work on. And let me know, what questions do you have about Ayurveda? One of the tips I got from other YouTubers was, before you start a YouTube channel, make sure you have at least 25 topics to make a video about. So I've been taking notes and writing down anytime an idea pops in my head. And I just counted today just because I wanted to see. I knew I had more than 25, but I wanted to see. And I have 48 ideas, and new ones keep coming in. And that's the beauty of creativity. If you've read the book Big Magic, that's kind of what it talks about, right? If we get a creative idea and we go forth with it, more creative ideas come. But when we kind of don't jump on a creative idea, that creative idea will run over to somebody else. And then somebody else is all of a sudden going to be sharing the idea you had, and you're gonna be like, wait, that was my idea. That was my idea. Well, you didn't jump on it. So that idea went somewhere else. So I've been writing down all my ideas for things to add to this channel, but I'd love to hear from you. You know, if you do know a little bit about Ayurveda or a lot about Ayurveda already, what types of things do you want to see on this channel? Now, again, this is an educational channel only. It is not meant to treat or diagnose anybody. If you're experiencing any kind of illness, please go see a doctor. You can visit an Ayurvedic practitioner local to you. And I also do offer online Ayurvedic consultations. So if you are into this type of information, please like and subscribe to the channel. And again, please leave a comment. All of these things will help this channel to grow. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And thank you so much for watching.